All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Jumping the Rail podcast. This is Reb. We're going to get into all of our usual stuff, the pay-per-view reactions and everything like that. But before we do, I am going to throw in an interview I did yesterday morning with the original World's Strongest Man, Ted Arcidi. That it's funny, he can only do it at 8:30 a.m. our time, so it's just going to be me, no Minders. We go into a lot of his powerlifting career. We go into his wrestling. Uh, he pretty much told me we're doing a part two, which we will do at some point. But yeah, I figured easier to throw it on the beginning to try to wedge it into the middle, and then there's a lot of just sitting around for an hour. So enjoy this chat with Ted Arcidi before we get into the usual JTR business. So we'll be back. All right, guys, this is Reb, and I'm very pleased to be joined by the original World's Strongest Man, Mr. 705 himself, Ted Arcidi. And Ted, thank you for joining me
Give
today,
it up.
sir.
Give it up in the fucking house.
Now, first things first, I think you actually are the earliest interview I've ever done on this show.
No shit. Well,
for
thank
those
you
that
for
are
the
listening-
adjustments because it's kind of crazy. I've been doing so many between filming, auditions, and then the podcast and signings. It's hard to get in. But I'll tell you, and unlike these other wrestlers, I don't want the money. I'm just happy to get the exposure. I don't need the money. I think it kind of sucks that these other wrestlers, they try to fucking stick you with fees and money and things like that, where they should be like thankful they're getting all the fucking exposure, you know?
Well, if everybody had no fees, I would be A-okay with it. But we've been around for just a little under 5 years now, so we're still kind of making our bones here also. But well, Ted, where are you? I know you're from Concord, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I was born in Buffalo.
Okay.
And then I moved to Arlington, Massachusetts, then Concord, Massachusetts. And yeah, my mom and dad, my mom's from Erie, Pennsylvania, Polish, and my dad, Lawrence, Mass. And both of those are the first generation from immigrants from Poland and from Sicily.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, I'm very lucky that I chose my parents well. I got good stock, good genes, you know.
Yeah. Actually, my wife is from Massachusetts also. She's from Danvers, Mass.
Oh yeah, Danvers, North Shore. I've been
Yeah.
up there many times. Good. I went to Salem State College up there for a couple of years before I flunked out. Yeah.
Okay.
Good place though.
Yeah.
North Shore. Good lifters up there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually went to the same high school, obviously years apart, as Mark Bavaro, the great tight
Oh
end.
yeah, Navarro. Yeah.
Man, he was a
Small
stud
world,
when I was a
man.
kid.
So when did she move out to your way, out to Chicago? When you married her?
Well, no, I met her. We've been together for about 9 years now, but actually we've been married 8.
Yeah.
But she moved out here about, I'm trying to remember, 15 years ago, I want to say.
Wow.
So it just her mom moved out here before, and then she'd been in Texas. She moved up here to be near her mom.
Oh, so she was down in Texas too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
then I
then
lucked
she
out, man.
must definitely tell her. What's her first name?
Stacy.
Stacy. I'm telling you right now. I know you're lying if you don't agree with this, but I know you missed the friggin' seafood out of Danvers. You were right near the water, Gloucester, that area. Lobster rolls, fried clams. She has to miss that. You have to miss that.
That's one thing she's told me because I'm still working on getting back to Massachusetts. I've been in there once when I was about 20, but
yeah,
she always says she's got so many food spots that she has to take me to.
You think you might want to settle back there?
Probably not. Just I don't want to get too much into it. Just
it is expensive though. Taxes are fucking great. I mean, maybe go next door like what I did. I brought my mail order company up to Manchester, New Hampshire, like in the late 80s when I got out of wrestling.
Yeah.
Very tax friendly. A lot of people from Massachusetts move up there, and you can still go down to Mass because it's right over the border.
Yeah. Yeah. She always talks about it. She used to go to like Winnipesaukee all the time. When
it's great. So. The Lakes region. From where I'm at now, Manchester, New Hampshire, it's like an hour to the lakes, an hour to the ocean, an hour to Boston. I got the best of all three worlds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk New England all day, but I think the listeners probably want to get into you, Ted. So, first things first, I didn't realize when I was doing my research you actually were studying to be a dentist before
Yes.
you got into
Yes,
athletics.
I was. Yeah, I was going to be I went to Norwich University. I graduated from Norwich in '82, and I was going to be a PE teacher. And I had a long talk with my dad on the way to graduation, with my mom too. And they said, and this was at the time, mid '80s, getting a teaching position so political. And he says, you're not probably going to get a teaching job. You're going to start subbing and stuff, and then maybe they'll get you in later. Because it was back then. I don't know how about other states, but pretty much New England, especially Massachusetts, was very, very political. And he says, basically, you got a lot of science credits, because I had a biology minor, basically. And he says, you might want to consider being a dentist. I know we talked about it before, he said, but it's going to be a grind, but you're going to do better. You're going to be making money. And you can take over my practice, because he was a practicing orthodontist by then. And I went for it because I just knew there wasn't a big future in teaching after listening to him. But I kind of smelled the coffee myself too, because I knew all along teaching positions were very, very hard to get. So I ended up, after I graduated, I lived in Newton, Mass, in a professor of BU, his house. I lived in his basement and his porch. It was a converted porch. And I used to take my showers at the gym, but I studied. I did all my prerequisites. A lot of people, if you need to know, when you want to go to dental school, you have to apply just like MCATs, just like medical doctor, just like LSATs to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Same thing for dental. They're called DAT. So I took a whole year just to get all my requirements, all my sciences, my chemistries, including in that, my practicum, labs, and then even the DAT courses from, I don't know if people understand, but there was a place, they're still out there too, Kaplan. They make study tests. They make study clinics. Whatever you want to be, they give you tests so you could do well in them, from SATs to LSATs to MCATs to the DATs. And I did well. And I studied, and I did my entrance exams and my DATs, and I got in. I got into a lot of dental schools. I got into Marquette, NYU, Georgetown, Case Western, and a couple others, and of course Tufts. But I wanted to go to Tufts because it was closer. I was living in Massachusetts at the time, mm-hmm. and it worked out well. But at the same time, I was chasing the world record bench press, and I thought I could juggle the two, but I couldn't. I couldn't. Yeah. So I lasted 6 months.
Okay.
In dental school, but nothing's unchosen, experienced. I still got a lot of sciences under my belt there that I learned about nutrition more too. Because you're studying with doctors and everything. So nothing was wasted. I still gained a lot of knowledge about the human body and the chemistry and the metabolism. And it broke my dad's heart, because he put the money up for me to go to dental school, and I was living there too at the time in Boston. Actually, it was in Chinatown in Boston, and it kind of broke his heart. I told him I was going to take a leave of absence so I can go for the world record, and he kind of knew I wouldn't go back. Mm-hmm. We kind of had a schism between us. We didn't talk for a while, but and I could see his point, because that's, you got to realize this is the son of an immigrant, and he doesn't. That's the beauty of the guy. He wanted the best thing for his son, to get into to become a doctor or a lawyer, something professional, because that was fostering what he was brought up to be, from his father.
Yeah.
You always want to better that next generation. So he did that. And I just, in my mind, I was going to put it on hold. Let me go for the record. Let me get the record. Then I'll get back into dental school. But as you know, that changed after I set the record. And then I started getting calls from Vince McMahon and the NWA and Turner and stuff. And I went with Vince because it was just so global. But getting back to that, I took a year. I took a year off and I did my prerequisites. And then I went to dental school. And I lasted 6 months, and then I kind of was on my own,
So you got into the powerlifting through hockey, from what I heard. Right?
Yeah,
you were a hockey player.
Put on the weight for hockey. I loved hockey. I thought I was going to be a pro hockey player. I mean, not to blow smoke up my ass, but I was pretty good, and I was a good defenseman. But at the college level, I was still like 165, 170. And to get any looks, to get into a good junior A program in Canada, or to play, starting, the first line for even Division II, you have to have some weight on, and so the coaches told me, put some weight on. You're a defenseman. Put some weight on. You got to guard the net. You got to come out with the puck in the corner. You got to be the enforcer. So I took their advice and I got into lifting, and it was just crazy how it worked out. I'm working out and doing the benching and behind the neck presses and the curls and the lat pull downs. And I'm every night, every week, I'm looking in the mirror. Man, I'm looking like stealth. I'm looking like an Adonis. And then there was and I put the weight on. I was benching 400 after just like a year and a half of lifting. And because like the first 3 months I was benching 300 for one, and I wasn't on the shit. I wasn't not on the shit. It
was all clean.
All clean. Yeah. And this is when I started at Salem State College, my lifting there, so I could play hockey there. And then it kind of snowballed. I got into I was in the gym and I saw a notice on the bulletin board about a bench press meet. I go, what the fuck is that? A bench press meet? And it looked basic. Okay, it's kind of like wrestling. You have different weight classes, and you have 3 attempts, and you got your best attempt, and you win your class. And if you do overall, you can win the overall trophy. I said, well, I got nothing to lose. I got to try it out. And I tried it out, and I got second in New England. I still remember the contest, Tri-Community YMCA in Southbridge, Mass. in 1980. And I benched the 440 with a pause. And then what caught me by surprise was like I was getting calls from newspapers and muscle magazines and bodybuilding magazines just about that lift. And so I'm thinking, something, fuck hockey. This is the ball. I felt like a boxer, like I'm doing good and it's only me. It's not a team event. It's just me, and I'm kicking ass, and I'll take the accolades. And it just got me hungry to go even for more weight, get the collegiate record, and then get the Eastern States record, and then go for a world record. So it kind of just snowballed. Yeah.
How much were you weighing when you hit 400?
Good call. 220. I was in the 220-pound weight class. But I noticed that as I was getting bigger and stronger, I was naturally, and I wasn't fat, I was putting on more muscle. So I just said, fuck trying to lose weight to stay in the 220s. Go with my stature. Go with what I can get for thickness, muscle, and go with that weight. So I moved up to the 242s for a year. And then I went up to the 275s. That's when I started setting world records a couple of years after that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I just kind of went with the flow, So for guys out there that are fixated on, I want to stay under 200. Well, if you're putting the muscle on and you could still put more muscle on without looking fat, go with it. Go up to the next weight class. You want to look good and pack as much muscle as you can,
Uh, how important is cardio when you're doing powerlifting?
Good call. Good call. Even back then, I was still a stickler about cardio because like weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting and powerlifting, you're on that stage and you're doing a lift that takes maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Okay. You need the most efficient, quickest, most powerful fucking burst of speed in your life ever, cardio wise, to go in conjunction with your lifting. So, with the knowledge I had from dental school and sciences and PE, I said, I got to keep up my cardio, man, not just for doing my workouts, but when I do that world record blast or going for a big attempt, I want to have the blowout. I want to have the blowout, the exuberance, and I want that wind. I want that explosion. And so what I used to do was I'd do like a regular mile, twice a week. I remember it was like a Mondays and a Thursdays after I lifted. And then I would do stadium steps, running up and down stadium steps for like about 10, 15 minutes. And I'll tell you, and people were wondering too, because like I had such good endurance in my lifts. Like I could go for one attempt, but I could go for another attempt too. I wasn't like I didn't run out of gas, And they could see that when I did my in Hawaii. It was 1984 when I did 666, 3 separate attempts that I did get, but they were red lighted because I went up crooked or something like that. But I locked them out, and then they said, "We'll give you another attempt," and I blasted it up. But because I had the endurance and I had the explosion from the cardio, that's why I stayed out and I lasted out on that stage for 3 separate attempts with just three minutes rest. Yeah. So that was good. A lot of powerlifters, they didn't incorporate the sprinting and the running up the steps, and they didn't have the explosion. They didn't have the endurance. They're good for one fucking max, and that's it. Yeah. No way, man. If I was training to be a professional like I was then, I want to do the best I can. I want to have the top cardio ability for my stature as well as a strength. So yeah, it's a little extra work, but I mean, look what happened. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. The video for that 666 lift is actually on YouTube if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah.
Actually found that when I was doing my research on you.
I think it's on my Facebook Reels.
Okay.
I think you got that. Yeah. And that was unbelievable. And that kind of set the stage after I did that. Everybody knew, who is this fucking guy? He is definitely going to blow 700 pounds. He just did 3 like reps, separate single reps with 666. And I got invited the next year to the Hawaiian Invitational Powerlifting Championship, same venue. And it was just a big push they did, kind of like wrestling. Uh-huh. And it was on like, I think NBC Sports or ESPN. And it was
like Wild World Sports or something
like that. Yeah. I think it was that. And then all the other stations, they picked it up because there's a narrated version of that when I set the world record at 7:05. Mm-hmm. And that's what just like opened up my life right there. I was obviously the last guy on the stage. And I remember Larry Pacifico. He was an older lifter, but he was a 220-pound world champion. He gave me liftoffs in the back. I'll always remember that from Larry because no one else was there to give me liftoffs. I was like literally, I was like the last fucking Mohegan in that warm-up room. But I went out there.
Real quick, before you go further, can you explain what a liftoff is?
Liftoff is when you're getting the lift, like you're benching, you're about to bench, and you want to try to get as little energy as you can to get that bar out nice and straight, mm-hmm. on the bench. So you usually have a guy give you a liftoff in the warm-up room so you can do your reps. And then, of course, get a bigger guy out there who's going to help lift, usually a good deadlifter. Gus Rethwich, he was the meet director, but he was like a world-class deadlifter. You get like deadlift 900 pounds. So when I got the lift off from him for the world record, it was like butter cakes. It felt like an empty bar. So I could put all my energy and my force and my explosion into the bench itself. Why waste energy taking it off yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that worked out good. And that the next 12 minutes changed the whole trajectory of my life. It was like, I don't know. It was so surreal. People ask me how it was benching 700. All I heard was the crowd. It was like 2,000 people, cameras everywhere. I'm stoked. So you're just feeding off the crowd. It's almost like you follow basketball, right? When Larry Bird, when they came out in the overtime or the third period or something, the third quarter up against LA, everyone in the Boston Garden knew they were on their feet. They knew they're going to take the fucking championship back in, I think, 86,
84.
84.
Yeah.
And that was the same feeling I got when I went out there and my opening attempt, 600 pounds. I could have done 10 reps with the thing, and I had this loose bench shirt. It wasn't even like the protracted equipped bench shirts. It was just like a tight t-shirt. And the 600 went up. Then I went to 650, blasted that up. And then I went to 675, blasted that up. And then the crowd's asking for 7, and they're going shit house. And I was wired, but I was contained though too, because I didn't want to blow my load just with excitement. I wanted to be controlled strength, when I got out there, because I'm following myself, 3 minutes rest on each attempt. And so I go to the 705 and getting back to that feeling. I remember the liftoff, and I remember the bar coming down, and I could like the side of the world. It was getting dark on the side, and I could still hear the crowd yelling and stuff. And then when I heard the head ref say press, I just said, "This is life or death," and I fucking locked the thing out and went up good too.
Yeah.
And but that's what I remember. I still remember that to this day. Bringing the bar down, and I just knew I was gonna blow up, explode. And but I remember like the sides, my left and my right, it was just getting darker. It was kind of weird, man. It was kind of like a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, I admit I don't know a whole lot about powerlifting. I'm mainly a wrestling fan, boxing, all that stuff. But so I didn't realize that you have to wait for the referee to tell you to press.
That bar has to be perfectly paused for even a split second. You can't bounce it. You can't double hitch it off your chest. It's going to be very strict. So you're waiting for that. To get a clean. And then you gotta lock it out yourself. And then she says rack it, the head ref. Then you rack it, Okay. Oh yeah. It was stricter back then. I mean, today they allow head movement. You can move your ass too. I didn't arch. I didn't move my legs. I was strict. And that was USPF, United States Powerlifting Standards, which was at the time international powerlifting standards, But that opened, and I was in shock because I mean, Hawaiian time when I did that, March 3rd, 1985. I'm sorry, it was like 5 hours difference, and so I got a call from Associated Press. They asked me how I did, and I told them I did good. And one of the guys was saying, good. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not lying to us? I go, no, it's on the fucking tape. It's on the Hawaiian news right now, So they all picked up on that. And I stayed in Hawaii for another week, just like hanging out with my buddies, my lifting friends and stuff. And some of those guys were on that show, Magnum PI, at the time too.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then when I came back, I started getting offers up the ass. I mean, and the newspapers were cool too. I mean, they did a lot of the Boston Globe, the Boston Herald. They did big spreads about me, because everyone was kind of knowing that's what I was going for,
Was pro wrestling ever actually on your radar
originally
when you're doing powerlifting?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It all hit me when I got back because I was watching it. Because that was the first WrestleMania 1 in '85.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, son of a bitch, look at the exposure. Look at the momentum. This fucking thing is global. It's not like lowbrow wrestling like roller derby used to be. This is fucking big time. And then when they had Cyndi Lauper and Lou Albano, the Rock and Wrestling Connection, I'm thinking, geez, maybe I should get into this. Fuck dental school for now, just take it a little farther because, I got off and they wanted to talk to me anyway. And I think timing's everything. What do you think?
Oh, well, definitely timing is everything for sure.
Yeah.
Now you went with WWF originally, but you said you got offers from NWA. Did AWA contact you?
Yeah, Ted Turner wanted to talk to me. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't want to go with him. You know why?
What's that?
Vince was global. Vince had more exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince was all over the world. I mean, he did tours. My first tour was in Australia, and I was over there because of the TV. TV is everything, man. It's everything, as you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he had me go to school. I went to his office, and I brought down my articles and stuff. Like he says, Ted, I already know about you because he's a lifting freak himself. As you know, Vince. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, and guess who's next to me? Because he had a meeting with Vince that same day. Fucking Fuji, Morocco's manager, Fuji. So I'm shooting the shit with him. He found out who I was.
And he's Hawaiian, so he might have heard about your.
Yeah, I think so too, because I was out there 3 years in a row. Yeah. And Don Morocco, he went to Pinaho. That was like a great, great football school. He was a good football player and a wrestler out there.
Oh, he was a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, he was great. I wish he had his back done or his knees done. I hate seeing him on that fucking walker. Yeah. Same thing with Patera. It pisses me off. I get angry at him. I said, you're busting your ass lifting and wrestling. So what? Go into the knife like I did. It makes a world of difference.
Because you've got 2 new knees, right?
I have 2 new knees, 2 new shoulders, a right hip, and I even had a back, what they call laminectomy. They take out the back shell on the vertebrae, and they take all the arthritis out and throw that thing out, and they just put your muscle back on, and it grows up against the backbone, and you just work out your back, and that's really good recovery. I'm fucking squatting 300 for reps now, no belt.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it took about a year to recover to get to that squat, but you will get there. You will get there. Same thing with the legs and the knees. Yeah. And you want to make sure whenever you get your knees done and your shoulders, but especially your knees, they tell you after 2.5, 3 weeks, with what you got for leg extension, leg flexion, okay, you're stuck with it because your body, it has a natural ability, almost like a defensive mechanism. It will grow calcium because it's, when you think about it, prosthetic, a fake knee is like an alien source. So they just try to put bone around it. Your body doesn't know any better, and unless you really just get used to it and you get into the mind of the body and the precepts of the neurons to do full flexion and full extension every day. And then it realizes, okay, this is a joint acceptance. But I'll tell you right now, man, and I tell people too online and on Facebook and stuff, get the joints done. But the most important thing you have to do is go like a fucking, that's why they give you OxyContin. Take the OxyContin because it's going to hurt. It won't hurt if you take the OxyContin, but get that full flexion and full extension. And the full flexion is by getting in a recumbent bike or a regular upright bike and put it on the lowest setting. So when you're pedaling, you can't help but go total flexion, your calf up against your back thigh. And you do that every day. I was like an animal here. And you can see this is my mill building. And I said, I remember that lady and the doctor tell me, she says, after 2.5 weeks, what you have for flexion and extension in your knees, you're stuck with it for life. I go, I ain't ever fucking going back. And I just worked my ass off like I do benching on the recovery. And I'm one of their best patients ever. I mean, I'm fucking running again a 12-minute mile. It's great. I mean, I run on the AstroTurf, in the inside of the track.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it,
Yeah. Well, Ted, I can tell you about 20 years ago, I had a car accident and just totally obliterated my right knee. and I had to go have the reconstructive surgery. I had a broken leg, so they put the metal rod in there and all that. They put all the hardware in there.
Wow.
And I had to go in for physical therapy and all that stuff, and they did exactly that. I had the recumbent bicycle. They put me on the lowest setting.
Good. I hope you stuck with it, man.
I did. I'm still trying to do it when I can nowadays, but
you have to stay at it because your bone will come back. The bone spurs, they'll be like barnacles.
Yeah.
And then they got to go in and fucking knock them out. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the issue I had was the rod they put in my leg actually went up into the knee, like the base of the knee. Like, so when you would try to bend I don't think it was. I think it was
fucking doctor. I wish you went to my guy.
But no,
that
so
sucks.
I got a lot of the range of motion back, but it wasn't quite enough that they were happy with. So I actually wound up going in for the manipulation.
Yeah.
procedures.
Okay. That's what they call it. Manipulation under anesthesia. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad they had anesthesia too.
Yeah. No, you have to, because basically you got a frozen joint. The barnacles, the bone spurs are cementing that joint up again. You got to get it loosened up. Some people don't go in for it, and they don't mind walking around. You can tell who they are too. They're peg leg. They walk around like a peg leg. They can't bend for shit, but they got no pain, so that's good for them. But not us, man. Fuck that.
I still have some issue like running like full speed. I was never an athlete. I'll be honest with you, but the job I have now, I'm walking 8-9 hours a day, so I'm getting that exercise that way.
Yeah, but try to do some. If you can't get the cardio with the biking, with the running, can you do it with the treadmill going up an incline? Can you do that, you think?
I think the treadmill. In my apartment complex, we have a fitness room, and I think the treadmill has an incline on it.
Because that is so key. If you can get your heart rate. You don't have to run. Get your heart rate up at an incline. You're golden, man. Try to do that. Get your target heart rate, and you're going to DH. I'm telling you, man. If you do your cardio and you get what they call, I'm in this thing now. It's called anaerobic, not aerobic, anaerobic conditioning. Anaerobic conditioning. So you're training at a higher level, but a shorter amount of time. Because your heart rate's higher than just average target heart rate. Find out what your anaerobic level is for training. And that's the key right now, man. And I'm doing my fasting too. But yeah, I would strongly recommend, if you can accomplish by doing incline treadmill walking, that's fucking hard, man, at a 15-degree angle, you bet your ass. That's good for you, man. That's really good for you, because that helps everything. Cardio helps your autoimmune system, your kidneys, your liver, all your key functions. You'll never have to get on a fucking medication. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, because when I came out of the hospital, they gave me Oxycontin and they gave me Percocet. I never touched that Percocet.
Well, I did. I took the Oxys. I don't think I had the Percocets.
Yeah, I
did the Oxys because I used them for what they were for.
Right.
Yeah, I was getting I didn't feel anything, but something, I'm taking advantage of this. I'm going to utilize this while I got the time. I'm going to kill myself because I'm not I don't feel the pain. I want to get full range of motion, and I achieve that. That's why they give you the Oxys. That's why people, they're so fucking weak. They get hooked on this shit. And they don't do enough thorough rehab, and they're hooked on this shit. People, as you know and I know, people are generally lazy. I hate to say it. They want to take the easiest way out. But when it comes to rehab and conditioning, you can't, man. Your life literally depends on it in your 40s and 50s,
Yeah. All right. Let's pivot a little bit. Let's get at it because, like I said, we can talk about this stuff for hours.
You know what we should do? Because I want to do an hour here because I got to do another thing.
Sure.
We should have a part 2.
Oh, definitely be doing a part 2.
Yeah. Okay, you want to talk about wrestling now?
Let's talk about the wrestling because the first time I saw you in wrestling was WrestleMania 2, the Battle Royal with football players. And I've always wondered, what was the atmosphere in the locker room with all these football players back there going with all?
They wanted to be like us.
I was like, Bruno, Morales, Big John Studd was in there. All these
Oh,
veterans.
it's fucking great. We all admired the football because football was big then. I mean, this is with the Skins and the Oakland Raiders and stuff, and it was big.
Well, the match was in Chicago, and you had Perry there.
Yeah, Refrigerator Perry. But we took over, man, with the airwaves and the TV exposure, as you know, in '85 after WrestleMania. And a lot of these guys wanted to jump ship and become wrestlers too. That was what we were hearing in the locker room and stuff. But I was with some really good football players, great guys, Freilich, Perry, Jim Colburn, a lot of Chicago, the fucking Chicago Wall, and Russ Francis, and then all these other guys, Too Tall Jones. I mean, these are dynasty guys.
Yeah.
But it was just so good to be with it. There was no animosity or nothing. We just knew we had to do a gimmick, and we wanted to make it look real, and it was cool. But I still think the most important thing of that WrestleMania 2, and keep in mind, that's like my 4th month in the business. I mean, who the fuck would think someone right out of wrestling school is going to be in WrestleMania? I mean, that's fucking absurd. McMahon took care of my ass, man. It was unbelievable. And then he gave me a main event with John Studd a month after that.
Yeah, and that was at Boston Garden, right?
That was a great fucking match. You like that?
How big was that for you, being a Boston kid?
Oh, place went shit house. When I walked out to the WrestleMania 2 in Chicago, when they're introducing the 20-man battle royal, and then they go from Boston, I'm running out there, place went shit house. And they had the viewing going on at the Boston Garden. That place went shit house. So it's just the amount of muscle on that card, you're getting introduced. That was a high right there. You're looking at the best specimens, the biggest, strongest motherfuckers in the world going into one ring. And I still say that ring had to have been reinforced.
It had to be.
It would have collapsed. It would have fucking collapsed.
Was that your only time in the ring with Andre?
Yeah. I think I did another battle royal with him too, but he was a real gentleman. And keep in mind, that poor guy, I got in there at his tail end of his career. He was hurting, man. We know about Hogan having a bad back, and he was hurting, but see, backs take a fucking beating.
Yeah.
Andre was really, really hurting because of that disease, acromegaly, I think it's called,
Yeah, the giantism.
And he was older too. But you know something? He gave it his heart, especially when you get into the next WrestleMania after that, with that big event with Hogan. He put Hogan over. That was like the greatest thing in his career because it was like the passing on of the torch.
Yeah.
But Andre was in a lot of pain, man. That's why he drank a lot too, I think.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You couldn't give him enough medication to safely get him through the pain, so they just told him to drink.
And what does that tell you about everything, though? It tells you, especially when you're wrestling, what's the thing that takes the beating? It's the knees, it's the fucking back. Once the back goes, everything goes. And you're in pain. You can't lift because everything is a stature. It's a pivotal point, your back. And if your back's hurting, you're not going to be able to lift that well. That's why I can't conceive to this day. Hogan should have had maybe a 10-year run. He had a 30-year run because he was on the meds, and he handled them well, to be honest with you, because he could still put on a fucking show like nothing, like no one can see. But he used to have to take meds just to work out because he was in so much pain. Waking up just to walk around. I mean, the guy, you saw this, the x-rays of his back. It looked like a rebar factory, you know?
Yeah.
Insane. But Andre was like this. I don't think Andre had the surgeries, but he was in tough shape. And I always get between him and Hogan, I jumped on at the right time, man.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So after your run with WWF,
yeah,
you go to Stampede.
I went to Stampede to become a heel because I learned to become a heel then. I learned well how to be a heel.
Because Vince would make you heel.
Hello, can I help you? Today we're open from 1 to 4. That's it. It's closed off today because they're doing an install. But come down, all right? I can't because I got a customer here. But what do you need? No, we don't. I got one box left over. It's one of those hyper jump boxes. It's I think it's $25. Come on in and take a look, man. I got to run because I got a truck here. All right. Okay. Bye. All right. How do you like that? Now, there you just felt the experience of Ted Arcidi's Weightlifters Warehouse. I just had a customer, and we do have a delivery and a setup going up. But this is my mill building my dad and I bought, and I have my store here, Weightlifters Warehouse. And I get a lot of people that want to come by if they want. Saturday morning's the best time to get an autograph. I got the promo shots at Weightlifters Warehouse, Manchester, New Hampshire. See, I'm putting a plug in.
Go for it.
But Andre was a tough thing, man. And then he died like a couple years after that.
93, yeah.
Yeah, 91 or 90, I think he died.
No, because it was 93 because the year after is when they put him in their Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Which was 94.
I thought he died earlier. He died in France, too, with his mother.
Yeah. No, he retired in 90.
Okay, maybe that was it.
Yeah. But
I was tight with Tim White, who took care of him. Tim was a ref.
Yeah.
And Tim and the other guy, I forget his name, but they used to call me Ted Skins. And they were like my handlers. They got me in and stuff. And it's like, I'll tell you, man, so much credit goes to Vince for putting me over, man.
Yeah. And Timmy's a Rhode Island guy, too. He's from
well, he passed, as you know.
Well, he is now. Yeah, he's passed recently.
He was from Rhode Island. Yeah, I think Providence or something. He ended up getting a bar going after he got out of the WWE, but then I guess he had health complications.
Now,
but yeah,
that bar was going while he was there because they would shoot brawls and things in there. And then
I thought it was great. They could work the gimmicks in for that.
The friendly tap.
He was great. Good guy, man.
Yeah,
There's so many good people there. But I got to tell you, if Vince, he sent me to wrestling school and he didn't want me in wrestling. I wanted to stay in wrestling school longer, but they wanted me out there because Patera was in the can. They didn't have their strongman. And I just kind of learned a lot on the road. And it's like, before I knew it, wow, man, he's giving me a main event at the Boston Garden with John Studd. You can't get better than that. After being 4 or 5 months in the business, and we fucking sold out the place. It was insane. Yeah, it was insane. But getting to Stampede though, I learned to be a heel there.
Mm-hmm. Because Vince didn't want to make you a heel at WWF.
And I could see his psychology though, because as any promoter, any agent in the wrestling industry, you have to learn as a face.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Because that's the whole idea. Everyone learns as a face, and I felt like saying, and I was telling him. Yeah, but I want to be a fucking heel because I'm just a natural asshole, And I went up to Stampede, and I learned there with the Hearts, and that was a tough territory. It was a good territory. But you worked every night, and you trained with the guys, and you worked on the mic, and it was just a great place. So by the time I got to Texas with the Von Erichs, WCCW, I was ready. I did a dark match for Fritz Von Erich before I got that when I was down there because they never see me work heel. They wanted me to be a face. I said, no, I want to be a heel. It's heel or nothing, or I'll go home. And I did that. And Gary Hart was the booker at the time, right after Brody. And I did I remember my match was with Cousin Luke. Remember Cousin Luke?
I do.
He was with the Hillbillies there, dancing and shit. Yeah. So I had a great match with him. Give and take. You got to do the give and take.
Oh, yeah.
And I took it out of the ring, but I learned such good fucking clotheslines. Vicious clotheslines from Stampede because it was my persona. I had the biggest, strongest upper body in the world. Bigger than like the Road Warriors of Brock put together. So when I gave a clothesline, you could hear the whole fucking crowd go, oh, it was fucking great. And then there's a little comeback, and then I kill him again. And then he said the next morning, Fritz wants to talk to you. So I went down to the Sportatorium. Remember the Sportatorium?
Oh, yeah.
I went down there and I talked to Fritz, and his little guy, Chris, was in there. It was just a kid in high school then or something.
Yeah.
And I still remember him in that Texas girl. Arcidi, we like how you work. We want to give you the strap, the Texas strap. We're going to have you work as a heel with Percy. And that was Paul Bearer,
Yeah. Percy Pringle, yeah.
And he was great. And I'm thinking, man, this is the balls, okay? Because I just got out of WWF. I did a thing in Stampede, but I'm getting back on national TV again. And they were global too. They had a lot of exposure.
They did.
I go to the Sportatorium one night. I remember the first night, and I'm with my driver, and I'm saying, wait a second, stop, wait. I'm looking next to the Sportatorium, and I see satellite dishes. 1, 2, 8, 9 satellite dishes. I go, motherfucker, give credit to Fritz Von Erich. He built this territory up with his boys, you know?
Yeah.
And they're all over the world because of him. So that was another thing I was very grateful for. And I always gave him thanks up until he passed.
Yeah.
For getting me down there, because I wanted to get back with WWE, but they weren't ready for me yet. And I said, Vince, I'm going down to fucking Texas because I got it. I want to work. I want that TV exposure again. So that worked out well.
Do you think if Vince hadn't pivoted to the smaller guys like your Bretts and your Shawn Michaels in the early 90s, do you think you would have had another shot there?
Yeah, because he had the Brocks. I mean, he had some big guys still. He had a few, you know. Triple H was putting on some size too.
Yeah,
I probably would have, but it was kind of late. It was because the scuttlebutt, the real truth was I didn't get back to McMahon was because I got offered a big contract with General Nutrition Centers because I had my vitamin company. It was in Muscle and Fitness Magazine, and they gave me an astronomical figure, and I even took that figure to Vince, and I said, listen, can you match this? Because this is what they want me to do. Push my vitamin company. They're going to have me in distributions and all over the malls and stuff. And Vince says, no, I can't do that. So I wanted to stay in wrestling, but I got into the GNCs, and that worked out well because of all the exposure that I had snowballed over the last 2-3 years. I was already a noted figure. So when I would do a demonstration in front of a GMC, like a behind the neck press or benching 500 for reps, we had like thousands of people there. And I would talk about my product, and the money was insane because I was in practically almost all the GNCs. That was a good thing.
Yeah. I want to backtrack a little bit back to Stampede for a second, because that's when I was watching some of your stuff from Stampede, doing my research, and I didn't realize, I think, is that the first time you were in the ring with Kazmaier?
Yeah. We tried to work that. This is the thing. Bill's a good guy. He wanted to jump on the wrestling after he saw me in the WWE. So,
because he was listening before you were, right?
Huh?
He was in the powerlifting before you got into it, right?
Oh yeah. He was there when I was like in early college. Yeah, he's like, I don't know, 8-9 years older than me or something like that.
Okay.
But he wanted to get into the wrestling, and which makes sense. He wants to jump on that, and he still had some good publicity as, quote, the world's strongest man, because this is a guy that really won the legit world's strongest man 3 years in a row on national TV. So people knew who he was. Vince knew who he was, and I know what Vince's mind is about. He wanted to get me as a heel, and Kaz would be the baby face, and we tried to make it work in Calgary, but and I love Billy, but he just didn't want to sell. And he kind of moved like he was very, very stiff. Like he just moved like slow, and if you don't sell, it's boring. He didn't really sell. I mean, and you've seen some of the tapes. I mean, you saw him when he was in the NWA, when they tried to push him down there. I don't think he was that athletic. What do you think?
I remember seeing an interview. You did the interview with Jerry Briscoe and Bradshaw. I think it was last year.